as a Trump administration deploys more National Guard and even the Marines against the wishes of the California governor. We'll be talking to New York Post columnist Adam Coleman about that. Oh yeah, and the small matter of some riots going in Northern Ireland. But what are they about? We'll find out. This is Talk. Apparently we're not going to a break, but that's just great. We get more time. I'm very, very delighted. Adam Coleman is columnist at the New York Post. Hope you are ready there. Good morning, sorry, good afternoon to you, although it probably is good morning for you, Adam.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Talk us through the latest developments about what's been happening in Los Angeles, because a lot of this seems to be not focused on the battles between the pro-illegal immigration rioters and ICE, the immigration organisation trying to deport illegal migrants, and the police, National Guard, but a battle between Donald Trump and his White House and the California Governor Gavin Newsom. What's the latest?
Well, the latest is that it's actually turned into looting. Initially, this would seem to be a particular conflict in response to ICE going to certain neighborhoods trying to grab people who shouldn't be in this country. And the response to that, but it's now grown into rioting. It's gone into rioting and now into looting. So there are restaurants and storefronts that have been looted. There's videos circulating X displaying some of this as well. And in the meantime, the leadership, Karen Bass specifically and Gavin Newsom, are making this all about Trump.
Karen being the LA mayor. Yeah.
Yep, the LA mayor. They're all making this about Trump.
Yeah.
And
well, they obsess about him, don't they?
Excuse me. Obsess is taking it lightly. That's all they think about. That everything is in relation to Trump, rather than the safety of their citizens, the safety of the people who are, within their jurisdiction. So I don't know. I would hate to be a resident of Los Angeles after dealing with wildfires and incompetence from the management. And now we have riots and the incompetence of management once again.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? And it is extraordinary when both the mayor and the governor have said, look, we're on top of everything. You think, well, I'm seeing the pictures. You don't look like you're on top of it. And a lot of it is reminding me of the Black Lives Matter protests, which turned into riots back in 2020, as we were discussing on the show yesterday. We saw whole neighbourhoods, often black neighbourhoods, black businesses being burnt down. Extraordinary, absolute lack of control on the streets, massive intimidation. People died, $1 billion worth of damage done. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say things could turn nasty. We're going to make sure we need to enforce this. It did seem to be clear to me that, that actually with the National Guard, on the streets, that things had quietened down a bit. And I don't think anyone's surprised by the looting. We've had that when we had riots back here in the UK back in, I remember 2011, it started in London. People think they've got a cause about, someone being shot dead. The next thing you know, actually their cause is getting some cheap trainers or free trainers.
Right. And when it comes to these particular signs of unrest about to come, if you don't knock it out quickly, what starts to happen is people from outside the area come in and use this as an opportunity. So I'm willing to bet just like during the Black Lives Matter riots, most of the people who are arrested weren't from the states that they were arrested in. So that's the danger of this getting out of control. And if they just say, no, National Guard, Trump, we don't need your help, just for political points, then everyone else suffers for it. And what someone brought up that was a very good point, when all of the resources are going towards one particular area and dealing with one particular situation, someone who legitimately needs help somewhere else doesn't get that help.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to me, from what I've been reading and seeing about what's been going on in California in recent years, they kind of lost control of law and order as it is. I'm not a fan of Gavin Newsom over lockdown. I think the man is an appalling human being. He had kids in masks till mid-2022, for goodness sake. The man is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. But this is, I mean, the man he's overseeing. I know what the mayors have different powers. San Francisco and LA and everywhere. But the opioid abuse, the lawlessness on the streets, the widespread looting. I mean, bottles of shampoo in shops in California having to be locked behind glass screens because of the level of looting. It seems to me that this has become a lawless state already, in which case, I think a lot of local residents, however they voted, to go, bring in the National Guard, sort this out.
Yeah, I mean, California, granted, I don't live in California, so I don't know all of their politics in great detail. But What I can tell you is that they've let the far left take control in many different ways. And there are rational Democrats that do exist who actually do believe in our position that we should have strong borders and things of that nature.
Old-fashioned things,
Right, old-fashioned things that everyone used to agree with. But they are either weak or their voices are drowned out or they don't win elections. And this is kind of the problem that the Democrat Party faces and why they've become incredibly unfavorable. Trump is on the winning side of this issue over and over, even recent polling, talking about this particular LA issue. Trump is on the winning side of this. So the
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I agree with you. I think the Democrat position on this is insane. Gavin Newsom and others are all completely insane. This is not where people are. But also, they try and make this as a race issue. This is an attack on Latinos. Well, I mean, the Latinos who've arrived in California and the rest of the United States legally are the people who are most being damaged. People at the bottom end of the social economic class, the ones who are most hurt by mass illegal immigration. 2.6 million illegal migrants believed to be working in the California economy alone. Gavin Newsom is saying, "Oh, our economy is in great shape." Yeah, because you're relying on basically, below minimum wage, labour funding everything, and these people aren't paying taxes. These people aren't working legally. These people have no rights. This is exploitative stuff.
Absolutely. And funny enough, I was watching, I think it was yesterday, BBC America admit that California's economy is heavily reliant off of illegal labor.
I'm amazed they did that on BBC America. I'm amazed they did that. But there we are. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Adam Coleman's a columnist at the New York Post. Really appreciate that. Russell Kirk's still with me. Russell, I mean, it is extraordinary. Even the coverage of this. I was watching a report this morning, and Sky's reporter was talking about resistance. They interviewed a woman who had just happily with her mask on, always has her mask on. Donald Trump wants to arrest anyone in a mask. Absolutely, including on the London Tube, by the way. She rode her moped directly at law enforcement officers who pulled her off, quite rightly. And then she was being interviewed as if she was this terrible victim and was a freedom fighter. And she was saying, my father's been taken away, he's been deported, we're immigrants, and he's been taken away, unfortunately, because he was here illegally. Oh, so he had broken the law. He lived here for years, and he wasn't here for my birthday, she said. Well, no, because he broke the law and he's been sent back to his home country, because that's what would happen to any of us if we did the same. And the phrase that was used by the reporter was the resistance. Yeah. The resistance to ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers, carrying out the law of the land that existed long before Donald Trump.
Well, and can I just say, not just the law of the land, Donald Trump has an absolute mandate to do this.
Absolutely.
He won on a landslide at the end of last year, inaugurated in January, on the basis that he would specifically deport illegal migrants. He is doing exactly what the majority of the electorate that voted want him to do. Yeah. So he's doing the right thing.
And he's got support across every ethnic group and across both parties.
And to the point about California, what it looks like now, I've been to California several times over the last couple of years, LA and also San Francisco, and it is sad. The homelessness, the fentanyl, the people walking around like zombies, the fact that you do actually walk into Walgreens and you're right. I mean, toothpaste, shampoo, behind locked cabinets.
It's like Cuba.
And the fact that you've got idiots like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, quite apart from how they dealt with the LA fires that almost destroyed the city because of their incompetence, they themselves have actually lifted the criteria below which you are prosecuted as a criminal. Yeah. Guess what happens when you do that?
Oh, I know. It's almost like we saw what happened with shoplifting here. But we're talking about violent robberies as well.
One thing leads to the other.
It is just extra. Send the army in now. I've got no problem. I think Donald Trump's going to win this one.